Well, the wars in Israel and Ukraine, as well as border security and the growing threat of domestic terror attacks, they are the key issues that will definitely take center stage at tonight's Republican presidential debate.
The debate at the University of Alabama is the fourth, and it could be the final face-off before next month's Iowa caucuses. Only 4 candidates will be taking the stage, frontrunner Donald Trump opting to host a fundraiser instead. New York State Republican Party First Vice Chairman John Burnett is joining us this morning right out here on the couch to discuss why voters across the tri-state should tune in tonight. John, good morning to you. Thanks for joining us.
Good to be here.
All right, which candidate has the most to lose tonight?
Well, I think Governor DeSantis. Why? Because he's been losing top people in his campaign. 2, the debate that he had with Governor Newsom, he performed very well. However, he's not experiencing the bounce in the polls. So as we move closer to the kickoff of the Iowa caucuses, as well as going into New Hampshire, he's actually falling back. He used to be a distant second. Now he's a distant third. So I think he has the most to lose. And whether you use Governor Haley or Ambassador Haley, she's actually rising in the polls, gaining more money and more support, even from Democrats.
Okay, 4 debates so far. No Donald Trump, but I mean, who really thinks that this is going to hurt him? It doesn't seem like it's going to hurt him at all.
Let's go back from the start. Whether you talk about, I think it is 4 cases now,
yeah,
none of them have hurt him. Whether you talk about the news stories coming out of the cases, whether you talk about New York or any of the other ones, nothing has penetrated his lead. He at the current position, he's at 60%. So that 60% is rock solid.
Does he lose anything by not showing up at these debates, though, at all?
You know, I'm a businessman at heart, even before politics. And I always say, never give your opponent an opportunity to shine. You want to be there to muddy the waters, so to speak, and try to get those individuals in the other person's camp into yours. However, according to politics, when you have that much of a lead, you don't take the stage.
Okay.
Is Donald Trump maybe seeing how this plays out on who could be his number 2? I said to you, Vivek Ramaswamy clearly never says one bad thing about Donald Trump. He wants to be this guy's number 2. I really think that. But he's likely not going to get it, right?
Well, the thing is, let's remember, Vivek, he's a businessman first before politics. So he has a dominant strategy to sound like Trump without attacking Trump. And we've seen him rise in the polls. He said some controversial things. He tried to clear it up, but he still has a high likability factor, especially among young voters.
All right, well, given everything that's going on right now, we've got Ukraine going on, we've got Gaza and Israel going on. Tonight's candidates, they're going to have clear foreign policy. Who do you think shines right now in terms of bringing some foreign policy questions to the stage?
That's a great question. Well, let's look at the resume, not the names. If I would have told you that someone is a governor as well as ambassador in terms of the United Nations, that automatically should be, based upon paper, qualify Nikki Haley to have that type of global experience and the know-how to work with foreign governments to procure the right solution.
We have to talk about the migrant issue and the abortion issue, that most Republicans are happy with the way the GOP is taking that approach. How do you think that could play out, and how could that be divisive tonight?
Well, I think you'll hear a contrast in this debate in terms of one, I don't want to name names, but one person signed a 6-week abortion ban. However, other candidates believe that we should go where 80% of Americans are, whether you're Democrat, independent, Republican, or politically agnostic. Most Americans say that a 6-week abortion ban is too aggressive. They also say 9 months or full term, that's too much. Somewhere between 3 months and 4 months. I'd say it probably end up 3 months. That's where 80% of Americans are, regardless of your politics.
All right, let's talk about the other hot button issue, the migrant crisis. That's a central issue. Let's bring up this graphic here. According to our NewsNation desk poll, 63% of Republican voters nationwide are against federal funding for asylum seekers. I mean, how big is this going to be tonight? Do you think this is going to be in terms of the questioning and in terms of the attacks on one another?
It's been a big issue. It's a big issue tonight, and it's going to be an issue all the way through the November election next year. Why so? look, we're a nation of immigrants. We're a nation where we believe in compassion and extending an opportunity to those abroad. However, there are people that were hurting before COVID and coming out of COVID. When you look at the interest rates in terms of going to the grocery store, the gas pump, people are paying more, but they're not seeing the rise in their salaries. And also when you see even Mayor Adams, and you see the governor of Massachusetts, Democrats, if you will, they're saying that the open border policy, it's hurting not only their fiscal budgets, but it's hurting their constituents. So something has to be done at the border. And we saw that, we were seeing that President Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris, they're not actually taking and instituting the right policies to correct that issue, to make sure that whether you live in a blue, red state, that your budget is not going toward this overcrowding, if you will.
All right, well, there's going to be a lot to talk about tonight. You're looking forward to this?
That means you have to have me back.
Of course.
Definitely.
We'd love to have you back.
Keep us on your calendar. Keep your calendar open. All right. And you can watch tonight's Republican presidential debate right here on Pix 11, our hour-long special Debate Night in America. It kicks off at 7 p.m. featuring live reports from Alabama and the early voting states of Iowa, New Hampshire, Nevada, and South Carolina. John, thanks so much for being with us.
Good to be here.
And then, of course, at 8 p.m., it's the 2-hour debate itself, hosted by NewsNation and the CW, moderated by Elizabeth Vargas and Megyn Kelly, followed by a special debate coverage right afterward as part of the Pix 11 News, right here on Pix 11 at 10 o'clock.